Hollow Knight Silksong, the Promised Land, the very thing that all of us fans have been anxiously awaiting for nearly 2 years already. And all this time later, we still have no idea when Silksong will actually be released. This topic has already been covered by 4 incredible Hollow Knight YouTubers who it is amazing to know. But with June 12th and November 19th having long passed, we inch ever closer to the date that Silksong will actually release. Stizzle came so close to hitting it on the head with his prediction of February 14th, 2021. But like I said, he was close, he didn't quite get it. Today, I'm here to tell you guys once and for all the definitive Hollow Knight Silksong release date. Hollow Knight Silksong was announced to the public on February 14th, 2019 as a Valentine's Day present, and later that day, we got even more information on this upcoming game. And as a fan on that day, I admit I was pretty excited as Hornet is such a great character, and the prospect of even more Hollow Knight content is incredibly exciting. And with each second since then, I've grown more and more excited about this game based on speculation by some of my fellow Hollow Knight Silksong speculation YouTubers, as well as the little information that has been revealed to us by Team Cherry. This game, Silksong, was originally meant to be a DLC for the original game, and it likely wouldn't have added too much extra content to the game. The DLC was a Kickstarter stretch goal that was met during the original Hollow Knight Kickstarter campaign. Team Cherry had so many ideas with this DLC though, that they got so deep into making it and turning it into a new exciting addition that they eventually scrapped the DLC and decided that they were going to turn it into a full-fledged game, much bigger and better than the original. Now, let's jump into some numbers. Hollow Knight itself took almost 3 years to fully develop from the start of the actual development of the game after Ludum Dare 28 to the eventual release of the final game before they added in all of the DLC content. Though a lot of this time was spent doing things that ended up not being a part of the final game, so we can discount a fair chunk of this, as it was spent porting the game from Stencil to Unity and learning the many new features and the code for the engine, as well as a crazy amount of work that went into the Forest of Bones, the second part of Deep Nest, and a lot of the other cut content, which was huge, and Team Cherry spent a long time adding all of the rooms, bosses, enemies, and all of the new concepts to these biomes, which also likely took months of time out of their schedule. With the elapsed time of the first game being under 2.5 years, and Silksong starting more than a year before Valentine's Day 2019, as Team Cherry said they'd been working on Silksong for well over a year at the time, as they had been developing it even before the God Home DLC, we see how long Team Cherry has been working on this for. So, if they've been working on this from before Valentine's Day 2018, that means that the game should be finished soon, right? Well, yes. We also have a fair bit of confirmation from Team Cherry themselves that the game is going very well in development. In a recent interview, Leth said that recent global events did not hinder Silksong's progress, so we can see that it actually continued and it doesn't delay our release date at all. We also have received numerous benchmarks from Team Cherry since they began development on Silksong, so us fans can see what they have accomplished after all this time. From the first trailer and the announcement of all of Silksong's new content, we received a fair bit of info from Team Cherry, so we can assume that they had at least started development on a few things in the world at the time of the first release trailer. But more recently, we've gotten even more promising information that could mean a release. First off, in the December or holiday sign-off from last year, which is almost already 365 days ago, we got info that they were working on enemies numbered 163 to 165, who were a scholarly suite of bugs. The original game of Hollow Knight had around a similar number of enemies, including all bosses and DLC things such as the Seal of Binding and the Weathered Mask. The developers have also said that they make things chronologically, so they make the biomes, enemies, and all of the boss fights at around the same time. So if they had 165 enemies, they likely had a good chunk of the biome work done as well. In the release trailer for Silksong, it was mentioned that the game would feature more than 150 enemies, and some people predicted that it would have almost or maybe surpass 200 enemies, and in December they seemed very close to this number. Ari and William also have said that they can make almost 2 enemies a day, so it isn't much of a stretch to say they easily surpassed this some time ago. We also got tons of glimpses into various parts of the game this summer with Leth's Riddles. These riddles were an event in the Hollow Knight community where fans would piece together Hollow Knight trivia and tiny riddles to open up a zip file containing pictures and information about various NPCs that we will see in Silksong. These riddles lasted for 4 weeks, and we got a fair bit of variety from these riddles. In them, we were introduced to 4 new characters that are going to be in Silksong, being the Huntress, an NPC who we apparently sell our organs to, and could be Silksong's version of the Hunter; Grindel, a thieving snitchbug who sells us information in exchange for shinies; the Caravan, who is Silksong's grubfather; and Seth, a later game boss designed by a Hollow Knight fan who sadly passed away. All 4 of these characters were in various stages of the game, from both the beginning till the end of the game. Many fans theorized that the Deep Docks area is an earlier game area, as there was a very small difference between this and the Moss Grotto in terms of movement abilities, and we also fight a rival boss here. In the Deep Docks, we saw Grindel, as well as the first tool of the game, which lets us know he's an early game character. But Seth is a much later game character, as he's located very close to the Citadel, which is our end goal of the game. In the Seth fight, Hornet also has many new abilities that she did not have earlier in the game. So we see that Team Cherry has a lot developed in multiple phases of the game. Also, if they are capable of showing us so many characters from multiple points in the game, this also means they have made significant progress in the development of Silksong. This means that they have finished these parts of the game from which they are showing us the content from, and seeing how much varied information we have received, this game looks pretty done. Now, recently Team Cherry has been a bit active, not on their website, but responding to Kickstarter backers, and Leth said something that got misinterpreted by the community. So the hype for Silksong is back again. On a comment to one of the old backers, Team Cherry told him that they had been very busy working on the game and they hadn't had time to post anything, but they will likely get us something relatively soon. And I think that based on how done this game seems to be, that maybe we can get a blog post after over a year of waiting. But even more likely that we could get a release date in the next couple of months. Also, recently, a strange set of occurrences have happened revolving Hollow Knight and the well-known Edge magazine. The lead editor for the magazine has dropped countless strange words that all have a relationship to Hollow Knight, or Silksong in a way. Team Cherry is also in familiar territory to Edge, as they have done countless interviews and articles with the publication before. The cover of the magazine also features a strange shape on the cover, which is weird, as most issues have very cool pictures of the game, instead of strange ovally shapes. This oval is shaped very similarly to in between Hornet's horns, so it could be easily talking about Silksong. Lastly, Ari and William were both online a while ago, and it could have been the two in a Discord call giving an interview about Silksong. So, what does this mean for a release date? Given Team Cherry's long history, I think we could see the game drop between February 21st to February 28th, 2021. Now, you may wonder why I'm saying this. Well, Silksong was announced February 14th, 2019 as an official game separate from the Hornet DLC that we were expecting. On that day, William and Ari not only dropped the release trailer, but they also gave us a 25-minute talk about some of the cool new features in Silksong that they would implement. They also dropped some gameplay footage and trailers of the original Hollow Knight in February, making it by far their most frequent month. I think Team Cherry puts us out of our misery over 2 years later, and gives us the release date on February 14th, or maybe a tiny bit earlier, such as the 7th, and then proceeds to give the fans 2 weeks to build up hype and do a massive marketing campaign before finally dropping the game that we've been all waiting for 2 years on February 28th as a little Valentine's gift. Taco used a similar logic in his video where he mentioned how Hollow Knight was dropped 2 weeks after the release trailer, and I think that if we get a trailer, it will likely do the same thing. while if they do a blog post giving us the release date, I think we'll have to wait just a bit longer. Now, why is Silksong taking so long? Here are a few reasons why. First off, the tool system likely has a lot of interesting properties that could lead to game-breaking occurrences, and Team Cherry's trying to stop this from happening. This not only makes tweaking all these tools much longer, but also requires them to maybe move some tools to other stages in the game, and makes them need a lot more playtesters so they can test all properties of this weapon. In the original game, it was impossible for you to get stuck because all the moves were so thought out. And even though you could use a fireball skip, I'm pretty sure you can't get into Deep Nest using only a fireball skip, so you can't get stuck. They're going to have to do the same thing with Silksong, but all of these tools have their own momentum properties. Secondly, Hornet is a much faster character, so each room is a lot bigger to accommodate her moveset. So this means that any problems in a room take a lot more time to fix it because there's so many more assets in the room that they will have to tweak. The quest system was also advertised as a giant part of Silksong, and it seems to be able to offer us a ton of extra content and play a huge role in the game. So the balance of this is crucial, and it would likely take a lot of refining. And we know how much Team Cherry loves adding content, so they might be going ham on the quests. And finally, Relia found evidence that Team Cherry could have been working on another game called Fearless Fox that I speculated about over in this video. And if they're working on this game, it could be training a fair bit of attention and resources that would have otherwise gone into Silksong and gotten us this game much quicker. So, will we see Silksong on February 28th? Will it be earlier? Will it be later somehow? Will they actually cancel the game? Type what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ravenbane, and please subscribe. Also, before we end the video, I would like to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to Purple Toaster. He made the amazing thumbnail for both this video and the Silksong Fears video, and he's also a Hollow Knight content creator, and he makes really good stuff. So if you haven't already, make sure to check him out. He's the first link in the description.